Hey everybody, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining this live today. How's everybody? How's everybody? As you guys know, my name is Akil Taylor, and I really appreciate you for joining this live. Today, we're just going to get through two topics. One is about the Kentucky judge who was killed by the sheriff. There's news that or allegations that saying that he traded favors for sex. That's crazy. And then we're going to get to this trend where they're turning malls into apartments and people are living in them. And I said to myself, would I live in a old mall? Probably would, especially if it's done right. So without further ado, let's get to the first topic. It's a crazy one here, it's a doozy. It's about that judge, guys. When I heard about it, I was like, wow, I did a video about it before. Check it out on my channel, please. Before anything, please, when you come in, please like, subscribe to this channel if you can. I'm a new YouTuber. I'm trying to grow. So please subscribe, help a brother out, like the video, like the live stream, and make some comments. That will greatly help me out with engagement and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get to that video and gonna just, figure out what in the world is going on. If you guys want to donate to the channel, I greatly appreciate it. You can donate via Cash App. That will greatly help me out. But yeah, let's get to this video and let's see what the news have to say.
Before the United Healthcare
Oh, wait. Let's restart it. Turn up the volume.
Before the United Healthcare CEO was gunned down on the streets of New York, the shooting that took our breath away was the killing of Judge Kevin Mullins right there in his own chambers. We know who fired those shots. It was on video right there. That was Sean Mickey Steins right there with the gun. He was the sheriff at that time of their rural Kentucky county. And he was also a close friend of the judge. And he's not a sheriff anymore. He's an inmate waiting for trial. But just like the CEO murder, the motive in the Judge Mullins case is a mystery, which means that the two men's long shared history has been under the microscope. And tonight, a gut punch of an exclusive to tell you about. It turns out there are recordings about the dead judge that tie him to some very dirty business in that county. A sex for favors scandal that sent a former deputy to jail and got the sheriff, who's now facing murder, sued in federal court. News Nation investigative producer Allison Weiner uncovered these recordings, and she joins me live now. You're such a great producer. I mean, we send you out to dig this stuff up, and then I have...
And, guys, a lot of people were saying that maybe the judge had situations with the guy's wife, the sheriff's wife, or with the daughter. But if this is like some favors for sex type of stuff, it is getting more and more bizarre. And we don't know, especially in them small towns, they I wouldn't say they're disconnected from the world. They're not, but it's a lot of things that goes on and we just don't know. But let them continue.
To have you on television to report it. What kind of a reporting are we talking about, Allison?
Well, these are recordings from the criminal investigation into Deputy Fields, the guy that went to prison for the sex for favor scandal. And Deputy Fields was convicted of rape 3, of sodomy, and also a perjury. So the recordings are from his victim. And she subsequently has filed the civil rights lawsuit in federal court. The victim is Sabrina Atkins, and she was interviewed by police about what had happened to her when she was an inmate in Fletcher County in Whitesburg. And that's where Sheriff Stein was working, and also where Ben Fields was working. And these recordings, I was listening to them and I just sort of stopped and was like, I'm beginning to see that Sheriff Stein's life was coming apart, like sort of one thing, one block at a time. And this was not a good thing that I was listening to. And let's take a listen to it and then we can talk about it.
But he does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls, sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly, just him having sex with girls for the able to get out of jail.
Oh crap! The judge was like, "Listen, okay, Do you want to rot in jail? No. All right, so you know what you got to do. You know what you got to do. You got to spread the cheeks. That's damn.
Who was having sex?
Being and just some higher ups.
Wow.
Who?
The judge and.
You saw the video.
Yeah.
What did you see on the video? I mean,
I mean, I've seen Judge Mullins having sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know. Because I don't know a lot of people from over.
Where was it at?
He's off in the judge's chambers.
Is that the same place that you were meeting Ben? Is that how you know it was the judge's chambers? And this was Judge who?
Mullins.
Wow.
Allison,
I'm telling you, everything unravels now. And guys, I made a video about this before. Please check it out on my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. All you guys that watch my videos, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate your support. But this is crazy, 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 guys. Wow. Thanks. So it just gets more and more wild, because it's like someone was telling me, I'm like, this just doesn't seem right. But like I said, in them small towns, like, yo, the judge was getting busy. Like, oh, you want me to lower your bail, or you want to get bailed out of jail? Gotta do some bending over him. And it's crazy. There's a lot of like adult films that kind of have things like that, and your boy don't really watch them. I do, but still, I'm saying that it's crazy how things like this happen, and it's really a sad situation, because it's an abuse of power, right? It's an abuse of power because these men are trusted with just being able to uphold the law, and you see how they sway it in their favor. This judge here probably wasn't getting any buns, so he came up with this concoction that say, hey, look, these women who want to get out of jail, hey, favors, you give me some booty, and I'll lower the sentence, or I'll lower the bail. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. This is wow, man. This is wild.
Wow, that's pretty clear. That's her saying Judge Mullins was having sex with these people in his chambers, just like
the judge was
the
getting
other
busy.
deputy. Here's the question I have, because it seemed to me that it became an open secret among female inmates that you can sleep your way out of jail, because these men and these higher ups, not the ones necessarily on the screen, this is an allegation only, will have sex for these release favors.
Wow.
That's correct. And by the way, the Sheriff Stein, denied during his deposition, which was a couple of days before the murder, that he had any idea that any of this was going on.
Do you think that he's going to admit it? Do you think that he's going to admit that, hey, look, I was bending these women over for them to get lesser bail? Who would admit to that? Which sheriff in a small town who has all that power is going to admit to that? Come on now. Come on, let's think.
But the fact is that the plaintiff in the lawsuit, again, Sabrina Atkins, said that she had heard rumors, and that you could exchange sex for not having to wear your ankle bracelet. She didn't say that specifically, but for some favors. And that's exactly what ended up happening, because she couldn't afford to pay for the ankle bracelet. You have to pay for the ankle bracelet weekly. And those are the allegations.
Wait, what the hell? Yo, these small towns be literally raping your pockets. So you go to jail and you get out, and you got to pay to wear the ankle bracelet? What? So you pretty much paying for your freedom. That's wow. Damn.
In the civil lawsuit, that Sheriff Stein should have known or knew about what was happening with Ben Fields. And Sheriff Stein is the big name in that lawsuit. It's Sheriff Stein and unknown superiors and Ben Fields. So he was facing some heavy damages and the loss of his entire career based on this civil rights lawsuit.
Wow.
And frankly, the plaintiff's lawyers told me, Ned Pillersdorf has told me several times, because it's like they were running a brothel out of that courtroom.
Seems like it.
Unbelievable. Well, I feel like it's just the tip of the iceberg, because there's still a lot more to connect Stein's allegedly murdering the judge based on what the judge maybe would have said to bring Steins more into this picture. So you're invited back, anytime, just knock on the door and you're on. Alison Weiner, great. Thanks for watching.
So what it could be, and like I said, this is just an allegation and just my opinion. What it could be is that homeboy who shot the judge was getting busy. Maybe they was running some type of crazy sex adventure, and the judge was gonna probably testify or something. Maybe they got the judge caught up because they got him on. They have a recording of him getting busy in the chambers, which is a flipping idiot. But still, that could have opened or unraveled so many crazy things. And that sheriff was like, "Listen, you know what? We need to handle this." And the judge was probably like, "Yo, listen, I'm not going to do anything." He said, "All right, cool. I got something for you." And just took out the gun and kabam, kabam, kabam. Yo, mess with people's livelihood. You'll see what happens. It's things that you don't mess with people. Their family, wives, children, and livelihood. That's if you mess with a man's livelihood, he'll snap, yo. That man will snap. Especially in a small town where you gotta live amongst these people, and people will give you the side eye or give you the cold shoulder and stuff like that, or they'll look at you and point and stuff like. Because you know how people are. You know how, especially, I'm gonna just say it, and this is not me being racist or anything. Them small white towns, yo, where everybody know each other, like Cheers and stuff like that. Yo, they'll point at you, be like, "Oh yeah, there go that ex-chef right there. He was getting those women's booty for favors." I'm telling you, and I'm all for it. I'll laugh. I'll be like, "Damn, yo, I can't believe he did that." But it's wild, guys. It's wild, and you have to be very, very careful out here. I said to myself, it had to be something bigger than what so many people were saying. There were allegations saying that the judge was messing with his daughter or messing with the wife. You know how the internet is. The internet is one big set pool of craziness that people would just say certain and hope that it stick. They'll be throwing darts at it and be like, "Okay, let me keep throwing something. And hopefully that's the truth." Knowing damn well they don't know nothing about the damn story. But I'm glad that I'm able to give it to you guys and report on it for you guys, so that we say, "Hey, look, give you my commentary and try to figure things out," because it's wild, guys. It is wild. It is wild. It is wild. So I'm glad that this is out here and we can continue to figure out what's going on. Hopefully, we find out, because the sheriff is not saying anything, which means that it had to have been something more crazy than what we know or what we heard about. And then this video here saying that this lady saw videos of the judge getting busy in his chambers with inmates. Well, probably not inmates, but just people, women from jail and stuff like that, saying that, "Hey, if you want to get out, you got to do some bending." That's wild, yo. That's wild. And it probably could be, like that in these small towns. But we don't know. They keep it hush hush. And it's crazy. It's crazy, but just got to be careful. Just got to be careful. Guys, if you're joining, please like the video. Greatly appreciate that. Make some comments if you can. Tell me how I'm doing and everything. I really would appreciate it and everything. And I appreciate you, and I love each and every one of you who are joining and watching. Thank you so much. Let's get to the next topic, which is people are living in malls now. And it's not just saying that the malls are like, they're operating malls and stuff like that, or operational malls, and they're living in stores. No, they're turning malls into apartments. And it's a trend now that's growing, and people are trying to figure out how to be able to continue doing it. And it's something that's happening, and people are doing it. So let's get to this. This is from CNBC. Shout out to them. Really appreciate everything that they do. Really appreciate them. So let's get to it and let's check it out.
So welcome to the teeny tiny shoebox apartment inside the arcade. There are lots of others.
Wow, look at this.
Like this. So mine is about 250 square feet. There's a walkway right in front of the facade because this used to be a shop front. And so people had to access all of the shops in the building.
While malls across the US are facing store closures and empty parking lots, some are finding a new life from an unlikely source. We are here at the Arcade Mall in Providence, Rhode Island, the oldest indoor shopping mall in the country. The Arcade had long been a center point in Providence's bustling downtown, but like other malls, it fell on hard times and was completely vacant. But rather than letting this historic building fall into ruin, developers came in and decided to build 48 micro lofts here on the second floor and up here on the third floor. While top-tier malls continue—
I'm just going to say that is one of the most brilliant ideas ever. Let me tell you the reason why. One, the piping already is there. Okay, major piping and stuff like that. All you have to do is just do some more repairs, and you have these micro apartments for single people. Now, I just hope that they don't, grape you for rent. Create these micro apartments so people could be able to move out on their own and experience life. That is awesome. They should do that. Shoot, there's malls all over this country that are vacant. Right now in Brooklyn, when the old Sears, well, it's not a mall, but the old Sears building, okay, off of Bedford and Beverly Road, that could be turned into micro apartments. That would help so many people, especially people who say, damn, you know what, I want to move out, but I can't afford this exorbitant amount of rent. But a micro apartment, 200 to 300 square feet, that's all a person really needs. You don't really need a lot of things. You don't really need a lot of things. That's the lie that the American corporations want to sell you, that you need a whole heap of crap. You don't need a lot of things, guys. I'm telling you, all you need is a bed, TV, little couch, probably an area if you want to do your YouTube like I'm doing. And shout out to everybody who support me. I really appreciate that. And that's all you really need, guys. And have your own thing. Have your own little space. Have your own little space.
Continue to be in high demand. Nearly 34 million square feet of U.S. mall space is vacant and off the market.
That's crazy.
Almost 70% of Americans live within an hour of a mall that has a high vacancy rate, low consumer traffic, or is abandoned altogether.
Look at this.
At the same time, the country is facing a massive housing deficit of 4.5 million homes.
There's a housing problem in a lot of markets across the U.S., right? This is an opportunity to find land and have a built-in customer base to get people into the mall.
Monday through Friday, this is really busy down.
True. If you think about that, and I'm glad that he said that. If you living in the mall, right, or living on the second floor or third floor, and let's say that mall has an anchor store, like maybe a supermarket or something, guess what happens? Those people who live there don't have to go out of the mall to get their things. So now the businesses make money. Let's say you got little shops and stuff like that, little coffee shops or little bagels or little food shops like Panera Bread or flipping Chipotle or Smash Brother or Wendy's or whatever, McDonald's, whatever. Guess what will happen? Those people will not have to go out of there. They can now have everything that they do. I think they do that in Japan or something like that, where like people, they have little apartments in malls. That's a brilliant, brilliant idea. Shout out to the people who thought about that.
Here, it's definitely, people in the offices working, getting lunch or whatever, and my barber's downstairs.
As of January 2022, at least 192 U.S. malls plan to add a housing component. The U.S. has about 1,100 regional and super regional malls, about 8.5% lower than 2015. So, can new housing developments help revive the classic American mall?
Oh, yes.
And what's it like to live inside one? CNBC went to Providence, Rhode Island to find out. Amy Hinion has been living on the top floor of a 3-story mall in Providence, Rhode Island for the past 2.5 years.
Nice.
What's it like to live at the mall?
It's really great. It's cool to be part of such a historic building and knowing that every single one of these units used to be a shop of some kind.
But living in a converted store does present some challenges.
Here is my very tiny kitchen. It is very small, but it is workable. And one of the interesting things about the units in the building is that because of codes, you can't have any cooking devices with an open flame. So none of the units have stoves or ranges.
But that's okay. Let's be honest. A lot of young people really don't be cooking like that. So when you really think about it, like if you got like one of them electric warmers or something like that, that like automatic shut off and stuff, you can just do what you gotta do, warm up things, maybe even a microwave or something like that. A lot of people, come on, especially if you live in a mall where you have a whole heap of stores around you. As long as these stores keep their prices at a decent level, a lot of people may not even cook.
Do you ever have any concerns about privacy?
Not really. It's something you get used to living in the building, having people coming and going. Everybody has blinds in their apartment that they can raise or lower as they like.
Despite those challenges, residents say having access to shops and restaurants makes living at the arcade a unique experience.
I get my hair cut in the salon downstairs, and there's little lunch spots, so you don't even have to leave the building. There's a bookstore downstairs, and they'll do author talks in the private lounge area.
Wow,
avoiding
nice.
New England's sometimes stormy weather is, of course, another perk.
If it's like pouring rain outside or if it's snowy, you just really can't be bothered to go out in the weather, you can still go downstairs and take advantage of those amenities.
Nice,
and it's not just long-term renters that are attracted to the mall. Scott Sheehan is a real estate investor and rents out his apartment on Airbnb. Some of these business owners
see how did I figure that was going to happen? This trend or this craze of doing that, people gotta stop. You get an apartment and then you rent an apartment out on Airbnb. No, that apartment could go to somebody, because now the apartment, let's say if it costs $500 a month to live there and you renting it out and you making $1,000 a month. Nah, man. That needs to stop. It really, really needs to stop. It's getting out of control, but hey, who am I to say? People want to try to make some money.
Owners that are down on the first floor, how important is it to them to kind of have a built-in customer base with these residents on the second and third floor?
I know a lot of folks are very loyal to, many of the bars, restaurants, clothing stores downstairs. So, the business folks downstairs definitely are interested in maintaining that relationship with the residents.
You definitely feel like you're part of the community more so than if you were just in a standard apartment building. It has been interesting with people trying to unlock my door, thinking that this is an Airbnb apartment. So sometimes you have to deal with the public more than you would in a regular home. But for me, that's a small compromise.
When a mall dies, communities lose more than just a shopping destination. Malls often serve as economic hubs, generating billions in tax revenue and creating thousands of jobs. In 2020, U.S. malls and shopping centers contributed $400 billion in tax revenue.
Wow.
When malls close, it triggers an economic domino effect. Local businesses suffer, jobs are lost, and vacant spaces become eyesores. To combat this, developers are transforming dead malls into mixed-use spaces, offices, medical facilities, and housing. Of these conversions, nearly 54% are being used for residences and office space. Once upon a time, retailers like Macy's and JCPenney were the anchors of America's malls. But department stores are shrinking. Macy's plans to close 150 of its namesake stores by 2027. JCPenney, which has already closed hundreds of stores since declaring bankruptcy, is closing 4 more between this year and next, despite a $1 billion turnaround investment plan.
When you have dead retail space, it can be easier to clear that. Most of what a retail site is parking lot. So you don't have to demo much to demo a parking lot, and the buildings themselves are generally easier to demo and then adapt into a retail space.
Yes, and that's so true. Like, when I was younger, my mother used to take us downtown Brooklyn, and my grandmother, they would be walking around window shopping, getting little stuff. And I used to just want to go because I wanted to go to White Castle or Wendy's or McDonald's and things like that. But when you see these anchor stores and you see that a lot of them are going, like even in downtown Brooklyn, there's so much residential buildings going up. even in Macy's, what they did was like they cut off like half of the building and they have apartments on that other half. So it's like you got the anchor store of Macy's down there, and you got little other shops like Chipotle, you have Starbucks, you have McDonald's, Burger King, all in walking distance. And on top of Macy's, you got apartments, because they increase the ability to build up. Like they making the large skyscrapers in Brooklyn, where and many areas of New York City where we never had that before, which in my opinion is a good thing. The only problem is that the rent situation, they paying or they costing these people thousands upon thousands of dollars per month to rent, which is outrageous, but that's the way that they have it. So let's continue.
The Arcade is a little bit different than some of the other mall-based residential projects out there. Most of them, like the one at Flatiron Crossing in Broomfield, Colorado, are adjacent to the mall and connected by green spaces or walkways.
This was a vacant parking lot, underutilized parking here at the mall, and we decided to go to a mixed-use project here.
All of the benefits that the shopping center itself bring to the equation. You have a highly amenitized residential project that's much more desirable than something that might just be, in an isolated location.
Not only does it meet housing needs, but it also revitalizes the property by bringing in a new customer base that can boost on-site restaurants, gyms, and entertainment venues.
Oh, yes. That's true.
While housing in malls sounds promising, it's not without its challenges. Zoning laws can be a major hurdle.
Facts.
Malls are typically zoned for commercial or mixed use, not multifamily residential. Developers often need approval from local jurisdictions to move forward.
Like any other developer, are having to navigate things like interest rates, construction costs, the capital markets, and so on.
Another obstacle is design. Most malls have limited windows, which are essential for residential spaces because they need natural light, making it difficult to convert certain parts of the mall. Usually, only the exterior-facing retail spaces are suitable for housing. Converting commercial office space into apartments is another trend, but it's often very expensive. A study found that in 5 U.S. metro areas hit hardest by remote work, the estimated office acquisition price would need to drop by 50% for the conversion to be financially feasible.
Conversion projects are really...
And see, that's another thing too. But I feel that the government really needs to do some major investments, because the trends of yesteryear, where people have these cars and people going to the mall and things like that, like people don't want to do that. People want to be able to say, hey, I want to shop locally or have my mall in walking distance. That's the trend, guys. So get with it, get with the times. A lot of these eyesore former malls, like when I go and visit my daughter in Chicago or in the south suburbs of Chicago, there's malls, and I believe it's Calumet City, if I'm not mistaken, but there are malls that like almost like pretty much gone. I believe it's called the Riverview or River Mall or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on it, because like I said, I'm not from Illinois, but there's a mall there right off of 94, off of 159th or 162nd or something like that. And that mall is a lot of the stores that are gone. I saw one time I saw an old Circuit City sign. I'm like, yo, Circuit City's been gone for a long time. But hopefully they can do something with those malls to be able to create something where multi-use, especially residential use, because a lot of people would be able to shop at those malls, and the businesses will be able to have more revenue, which in turn will be able to pay more taxes, which in turn will be able to help the local schools and all the things, the police, the firefighters, the paramedics, and all those stuff, the hospitals, and be able to have a good situation there.
Really tricky, because a lot depends upon existing conditions, which you might not always know about. But to give you a range, on a very low end, you'd be looking at maybe $200 a square foot to convert, where on the upper end, you might be looking more at like $800 or more per square foot to convert.
That's crazy. Now I see why. Now I see why it's so expensive for these buildings, especially when they're trying to rent them out. They got to make their money back, especially with the interest rates. And this is why Uncle Trump coming in is actually a good thing. I know a lot of people are probably still butthurt because Kamala lost, but oh well. Uncle Trump coming in will actually help housing, because as they lower interest rates and they're able to get money for cheaper, now they can do these big projects and be able to make some money. Now, the only thing that I feel that the government really needs to get in is need to say, listen, you have to kind of have a cap on how much you can gouge the American people, because if the American people can't afford it, you ain't gonna be able to rent it. All right, come on now, you gotta think about that.
Malls across America just might have a second chance if they can truly become the housing hubs of the future.
The mall is becoming cool again. And so being able to live by it, work by it, play by it, go to restaurants by it, we're definitely seeing this as a trend.
Some people are confused and they'll say, like, why would you want to live in a space that small? But for me, it's about having a reasonable apartment at a reasonable price.
Facts.
That will force
I
me
agree.
out into the community.
I agree.
And interacting with the people outside. The point is not to stay in the 250 square foot studio. It's to interact with the downtown that you're living in.
I agree 100%. I agree with 100%. All right. You're going and meeting new people, you're doing things and stuff like that. And that's very important. That is very, very important, especially for young people. Give young people opportunity. You know that there's so many young people that still staying at home. And it's not a bad thing to stay at home. I stayed at home till I was about 30. It wasn't a problem. Now, I did branch out a little bit and stuff like that and things, but I had to end up coming back. I can't say I stayed at home. I had to come back home and, you know, save up my money and do what I had to do. But still, a lot of people want to be able to have their little space. That's all they need, their little space, and do what they want to do and make their moves and enjoy life. And this is a good thing. I hope that it gets bigger. I hope that as the interest rates go down, I hope that they are able to make moves and do what needs to be done and be able to help people just try to have some enjoyment in their life, to have some peace of mind that, hey, this little 250 square feet studio apartment is mine, and it's my little space. Okay, yes, it might be restrictions on what they can do and stuff like that, but still be able to have and do what they gotta do. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. So, you know, guys, I'm about to cut it off. Glad for everyone who joined me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please like the video. Please make some comments and subscribe to this channel. I'm a new YouTuber and I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to reach over 1,000 subscribers. Please help a brother out. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Till next time, guys, be safe out there. Have a wonderful day. I love each and every one of you. Peace.